Today I'm going to take a look at some of the vintage and pop culture items that I've sold online today. First up are a couple of books that I sold on eBay. I got these two books here that are going out. One is called Sugar on Snow and the other is called Is This You? The Sugar on Snow book is from 1964 and is illustrated by Aldrin Watson. This one I thought was going to be kind of difficult to sell because it's supposed to come with a dust cover. And when books are missing the dust cover, the underneath part is usually pretty unextraordinary. But this one at least had the name of the book on it, Sugar on Snow, which I still don't really know what that means. So let's take a quick look. If you look at the illustrations, they are kind of inked brush, but they also have blue highlights. And this particular one is a family with two kids that are out in the wilderness. And I think I know where this is going. I think it has something to do with them, I guess, would it be mining, collecting maple syrup? What's it called if you actually are someone who sells maple syrup? Is it mining? I don't think that's it. That doesn't sound right. So the book shows them with all of the stuff they have to collect the maple syrup from the trees and going out into the woods. Look at that. It's like a motion picture. And then, of course, going out to the snow. So it seems like a relatively serious book, or at least one that's, I want to say introspective, but that's not the correct thing to say. Then up next, we have Is This You? So Is This You is from 1955, and it's written and illustrated by Ruth Krause and Crockett Johnson, which that just reminds me of Miami Vice, Crockett. So this book is more of kind of an illustrated cartoonish sort of style. This particular artist, I've had a couple of books by them, and they draw children very similarly in all of them. It almost kind of reminds me of Gold Key comics that I collect. So this book is kind of in grayscale, but it's got pinkish highlights. And this book is from 1955. Next up, I sold a bit of movie memorabilia, but more for theaters. Let me show you what I mean. So I've got these ad mat molds is what they're called. So what this is they used to send these to theaters, and theaters would be able to use them to create their own like lobby prints or posters, or they would even use them specifically to give to the newspapers so that they could create ads that would get printed in the newspaper. This one here is for From Russia with Love, the 007 James Bond movie, and I believe that's from 1958. I think. Originally what I thought is it's kind of like when you do a block print, like they would put ink on top of this and press it down. But the thing is then it would be backwards because this reads the correct way. So I was trying to figure out like, how does it work? And then I thought maybe they push it on the back, but the detail is not there. It's just kind of molded. Whereas if you look really close at this, you can see there's all the dot printing that they would do to make it appear inside of a newspaper. And I tried looking it up, and I, for the life of me, could not figure out how this worked. Everything was going to be backwards. Then I saw one article that made it all make sense. Think of if you were to take a big piece of silly putty and press it on here, and then pull it off, and it would be a mold. Then you would use that mold as the print. This is just something to make the molded print. So one article I read, and really it was only one article. Nobody else talks about these, but that's how I figured it out, is they said they would put molten metal in here, let it cool, pull it off, and then they would be able to use that as the print. Like they would have something there. It's a good thing that like our laser jet printers came around, because that just seems like a lot of work for something that supposedly is like, here's some free advertisement you can use in your theater. It's like you have to buy the print and everything. But this is a real interesting thing. I actually have a whole bunch of them that I just started selling. Here's one that's actually a full newspaper print with different sizes. But this is the one that I sold. James Bond 007 From Russia with Love. Then keep it up with the books over on Mercari. I sold this one. I have this book from the 80s called What Do Smurfs Do All Day? So this one, of course, is illustrated by Peyo, who was the person who created the Smurfs and drew them. And it just goes through Papa Smurf talking to the different Smurfs and really just what they do all day. It's truth in the title. So there you go. And the Smurfs are working, the Smurfs are learning, and apparently afraid of the cat. Oh, because it's Azrael. And that is what the Smurfs do all day from the 80s. had to shut the door because there was a train and a plane going by, which oddly enough is very fitting for the next item that I sold on Mercari. I sold this wooden frame tray puzzle of a plane, the Play School Airlines plane. So this is a 15-piece puzzle, and it's just got parts of a plane, and they're all carved out on wood. I hate that I can't set it straight up or else they'll fall. And then an odd item I sold, which I thought more people would know what it was, but I'm starting to think maybe only I had one of these. It's a fuzzy bunny bank. So it's a molded bank, which isn't out of the ordinary, but this is texturized. It's got a layer of fuzz that's on it, and the bunny's kind of airbrushed and painted. I mean, it looks like an actual bunny, but it's a bank. It's got this in the back, and then underneath, it's got the thing where you can take the money out. I had one of these. I think I also had one that was a bear. I'm not sure why I had so many banks growing up. I also had like one of those big Tootsie Roll banks. But anyway, when I saw this, I was like, oh, cool. This will be great. And no, it took quite a while for me to sell this one. I feel like it was hard to describe what it was, or people may not have recognized it. Either way, it's sold now and it's going out today. And then one more puzzle from my collection. This one is a Goodyville puzzle, and it's actually the second one I've found. So Goodyville is a scratch and sniff puzzle. It's a frame tray puzzle, and it's got these different sort of desserts, candies, whatever you want to call them. There's a pie, there's a cone, there's a cupcake right there. There's a marshmallow who's actually cooking a marshmallow. That's weird. But if you look at the angle of it in the light, you scratch this face here, and that's going to smell like strawberry ice cream. You scratch this here, and I'm assuming it smells like chocolate. You scratch the pie here, and you can see the little surface there where it smells like apple. I'm not sure if it still smells that way. Oh, it does a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what a marshmallow is supposed to smell like, but that one doesn't smell either. So far, the only one that works is the strawberry one. That here, it's just an interesting thing. I've never seen a scratch and sniff puzzle before. And that's all the pop culture, vintage toys, items, and other weird memorabilia that I sold today.